Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeannie. This is Get This Glowing, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the new Naked Ultraviolet palette. This palette is available now at Sephora. It is available at Urban Decay, Cult Beauty, and it is running you $49 US. If you want to see my thoughts on this palette, then just keep watching. We are going to be getting into it. At the end of the video, I will be showing you how I got this look, two different looks, one on each eye, and let's hop right on into the deets and my thoughts about the palette. This palette is one of the Naked palettes from Urban Decay. I'm sure that you've seen this palette going around. It is a very beautiful palette whenever you first look at it. It does come with a dual-ended brush. I rather like the brush. I think it performs very well. I did use this brush to do the more purple eye that I have going on over here today. This palette, it swatches rather nice. I do have some footage of the swatches that I will insert for you. I did do a video of new purchases with this palette swatched. If you hadn't seen that, I will link that up in the iCards for you. It swatches very, very nice. This palette has not so good pigmentation when you're putting it on your eyes, as in it takes a lot to build this palette up. If you are a beginner, if you like palettes that are a little bit more, or eye looks that are a little bit more on the light side, then you may really, really love this palette. I have a friend who she really likes lighter eye looks. Let me just shout her out. If you haven't been to my friend Catherine McCarty's channel, you'll really love her channel. She's got a great unboxing channel. If you like that type of thing, go hit her up. She has a wonderful channel, and she loves lighter eyeshadow looks, and this would be the type of palette that she would adore. So Catherine, if you're on the fence about this palette, girl, you'll love this palette because it goes on really, really light. You don't have to worry about going in heavy with your brush and it just going boom and it depositing a bunch of color. It's not going to do that. It is going to give you a nice pale look. If you want a slamming bright eye look like this side, you are really going to have to work it to get it. It does not come easy, but the neutral side of this palette is so pretty. I really like the neutral side a lot, and one of the shades that I really like the best is this shade called VR, because it has this lucid shade right here. It has that shimmer in it. It's almost like a duochrome that has this reflect in it. And so it pairs very well with lucid, and I do have that on my eye on this side. And it makes a really pretty, I'll come in closer so you can see, but it makes a really pretty neutral look. And so I'm just living for that side of the palette. The ultraviolet side, I really am not crazy about. I just have to be honest. I think Urban Decay missed the mark. I think they needed to have a little bit deeper. This shade right here needed to be, they needed to have another matte that was deeper. They needed to have a deep, like this color right here could have been a little bit lighter and a little, and matte. It needed to be just even if they were going to keep it in the same depth, it needed to be matte. So they really missed the mark. In this palette, they had the opportunity to do something really, really great, and they just missed it. They needed to have a deep purple, like both of these shades, if you want my honest opinion, could have been mattes, and this palette would have been screaming. I don't know if maybe a little bit less on the neutral side would have been better, and a little bit more purple, maybe more on the monotone side would have been better. I know that they're trying to keep with the naked theme, but we needed some more purples that were mattes, and I think this shade needed to have been matte. This shade needed to be a little bit lighter and matte, because you needed that ability to make a deep smoky purple eye, and you really don't have it. So I am just really not happy with the purple side at all. So those are my thoughts for a really great purple eye look. I am still really in love with my Bobbi Brown Ultraviolet palette. I think this palette is much better for that deep purple look. If you pair this with the Urban Decay Lucid shade, which is the killer shade in this palette, it just is. I think that you can get a beautiful look out of it, but you know, they missed the mark, if you ask my opinion. So we'll hop on into the footage of the tutorial of how I got these looks, and quite honestly, yeah, the actual purple eye, I'm just not loving. I'm just thinking that, wow, Urban Decay really missed the mark. Save your money. Put it into something else. Maybe the Mercury Retrograde by Huda, the Bobbi Brown, if you can find the Bobbi Brown Ultraviolet on Mercari, that would be a much better palette. Can ColourPop come out with a deep, deep violet palette? Or the Juvia's Place Violet palette? That's a much better bang for the buck. But if you like a very light palette and you're really digging the neutral side of this palette, the neutral side is worth it, not so much the violets. Those are my thoughts, and if you want to watch the tutorial, let's get into it. I almost didn't turn on the camera for this because this look is not exactly what you would probably expect from this palette. The Ultraviolet palette really is, most people are doing the violet side, and to me, I really love the neutral sides a little bit more. I may end up doing a look on one side that's violet, one side that's neutral, but I am going into this color right here that is called Hacked, and this is the shade right here. It is one of 3 matte shades. There's not a lot of mattes in this palette, which really doesn't bother me at all, but that is what I've got laid down in the transition right now. Wasn't really planning on doing this look, and I just decided I would turn on the camera. I am using a Goss 16, which is one of my favorite brushes. Another one of my favorites is the Goss 18. So those are just more on the bigger side, fluffier side for someone who has a lot of real estate on their lid, like I do. So I'm going to go now into Mind Slip, which is this color right here, the peachier, the more peachy toned color, and I'm just going to bring that down on the lid. And I'm putting that very first shade that is called Trippin', which is a shimmer just under the brow bone, and a little bit just to brighten up the inner corner. And now I'm going to go into this shade right here called VR, and it has a shift all of its own. It has a little bit of the blue shift that's in the Lucid, and I'm just going to place the Lucid on the inner corner and marry those shades together. I think they go so well together because of the shift that is in that shade VR. And then I'm going into Optimized, which is the shade that is the purple matte right here. And I'm just going to deepen up just a little bit of the crease with that. I'm going to go into this shade right here called Warning. And I'm going to go under my lash line just to tie in the color of my shirt. And then I've got a little pencil brush, and I'm going to go into the purple right here called Cyberpunk. Then I want to try to get that Lucid to show up just a little bit more, so I'm going to spray my brush. Now I'm going to do my eyebrows real quick, and then we'll do the other eye a little bit different. Okay, I've got my eyebrows done, and let's try to stay on the violet side of the palette. So I think what I'll do is go in to the very light matte side first, and then I will work probably on the deeper side. So I'm going to use the fluffy side of the brush that came with the palette. The palette is available right now at Sephora and the Urban Decay website, as well as Cult Beauty. It is not available yet at Ulta, but it's coming to Ulta, and the price is $49. I personally am not that impressed with the violet side of the palette, just to be honest, and let me tell you why. I have big shoes to fill when it comes to the ultraviolet side, because to me this is a copycat palette. The Bobbi Brown company put out an ultraviolet palette last year around Christmas time. They had an infrared and an ultraviolet, and this is a slamming palette. And what they did so well that Urban Decay did not do is this shadow right here is a very dark matte, and it's on the neutral side. And Urban Decay totally missed the ball whenever they put together this palette, because on their neutral side they do not have a deep enough matte. Also, this shade right here is a dupe for this shade Purple Dust. The pigmentation of the Bobbi Brown palette is just a lot better, I feel like, than the Urban Decay palette. So that's what I'm going against. Okay, I am going into this darker shade called Euphoric right here. And it's really hard to get this shade to build up. It is what I would call beginner friendly. And I guess that in a way that kind of sticks with the naked theme. Now I'm just going to go down and grab a little bit deeper into that purple dust, just the shade right here. So you can make a really nice gradient look with this palette. And now I'm going to go back into the Lucid color. I've got my eye look roughed in. I just need to clean up underneath, and I need to put on some lashes, liner, and lips, and I'll be right back with my final look and we'll talk about my thoughts on the palette. Okay guys, I am back with my finished look. I have to say, I'll come in and let you look at that. I'm okay with it. I'm just okay with it. I like it. I don't love it. I don't love the palette. Yeah. I just think that the shadows are a little bit hard to build up. I think the shadows are a little bit, the pigmentation is just not quite there for the palette. It's beginner friendly. If you like a palette that you have to build up and it's a little bit slow going, then it might be a good palette for you. I think that they had the opportunity to really do something special with the palette. I think they just missed the mark. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you here as part of the Get This Glowing team. And don't forget, give me a big thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. But for now, smooches everybody. Bye-bye till next time.